watching Jeff Koinange live in association with LG 4K OLED TV.
And welcome back to Jeff Koinange live at the Villa Rosa Kempinski. I tell you, on this Politics 101 Wednesday, with three gentlemen who are clearly experts in their respective fields. We've got the banker, Mohammed Walie, based in Riyadh, Saudi Arabia. We've got the politician, former Deputy Speaker, former Member of Parliament like Dara Farah Malim, and of course, we've got the Grand Mullah, Ahmed Nasir Abdullahi, publisher, Arabic Law Monthly, owner, Al Noor Media, and of course, senior counsel. We're having great debate about the state of corruption, but we want to know what's the way forward. Your tweets coming in very thick and very fast. Beanie Bender, let me just read a couple. Beanie Bender, you say, what Kenya needs is an imperial leader who wouldn't give a damn about political correctness when dealing with graft. Yeah, good idea. Hassan Ado says, while Walie is optimistic over war on corruption, Ahmed Nasir is cynical and pessimistic. Abdir Nasir Aiden says, Mohammed Walie deserves to be heading our central bank. Very smart guy. But we've got Joroge there, man. He's doing all right. Huh? He's doing okay. Yeah, okay. We wait a bit. And, and then the mayor of Isili, Ahmed Mohammed, said, it is not power that corrupts, but fear. Fear of losing power. The solution is to elect politicians on one term only. Your thoughts, Bushmiwa? One term only.
Well, it's not possible. You can't say that politicians should be elected one term only, because the Bill of Rights in any country is somebody has the right to present oneself for elections as long as it takes. Even if he's going to be at the age of 100, if the people are going to elect him, then that's fair. Americans tried to do the term limit. Mm-hmm. The term limit, they tried, it didn't work. We have now done ourselves with the governors, and we've done that with the
presidents.
The presidency, yeah. Yes. I think that's a good step forward. We'll probably do it also with the other offices at some stage down the line. I don't know how.
No, but when you do a term limit of one term,
yes.
If corruption now is 10%, because he knows he has a time limit of
He's going to make
years,
it 30%.
He will make it 30%.
Yes. That's, because he has to live in 5 years.
He'll eat more,
yes,
because he has less time.
Yes, absolutely.
Oh, come on. You know, someone just said you're very pessimistic. So what's the answer?
No, listen to me. I know I'm a realist. I know these things. It's a real... I mean, look at, corruption in Kenya is not difficult to understand. It is people in power who do it. Simple. Yes. And those people in power, because they control the levels of government, will not allow for that system to provide check and balances for them. Simple.
What Ahmed Nasir is basically telling you is that we have no powers. We are powerless.
And who runs the country? The mafia, the cartels?
Well, the people in power. The CEO, his deputy, the others, everybody down there, the cabinet, the CSs.
No, but...
You get my... Hang on a minute. Let me just finish this. This is the hard facts. Nobody wants to call a spade. People want to call it a big spoon and, put a wall here, let's make this system here, this is going to work,
yes.
Let's change the constitution. We've done all that. All is provided for in the constitution. The Ethics and Anti-Corruption Act itself is very powerful. It provides everything. You get my point. The office of the DPP is independent. The Director of Public Prosecution is independent. Judiciary is ostensibly independent. Are you getting my point? Yeah. I mean, all that we have done. I'll tell you the missing link.
What's the missing link?
The goodwill at the top.
Mohammed.
No, I mean, Mheshimiwa says we don't have power. I don't agree with that, because he is a member of ODM, a very senior member of ODM. And they say we, the people. Power lies with the people. This is what they've been telling us.
You are the people also.
So basically, I mean, that is, your party, basically, that is what they've told us. And I agree. But I agree with it. Yeah. So the people are not powerless.
He's doing his best.
Those who are in power, have been entrusted with power by the people. So maybe you say, okay, the system might not be working, but we cannot say we are powerless. Okay? You've seen a lot of countries where people have gone to the streets. You have seen a lot of countries where people have voted their leaders out. So the power that Mheshimiwa says we don't have might be with the leaders, but that comes from us.
No, Willie has great ideas, but these are textbook ideas, things you find in textbooks.
Maybe he's been in Saudi Arabia too long.
Yes,
No, he knows even here, but basically...
He has textbook ideas, do this. What we are discussing here, or the suggestions we are making, are empirical. What you find on the ground in Kenya.
Yes.
So, wachana na mambo ya textbooks, the reality in Kenya is there is a government, there is a system, and that system is designed to steal from the Kenyan public, and there's nothing you can do for the time being about that.
Until you change the system.
Okay. So the solution is, Grand Mullah,
Do nothing.
The solution is, did you notice about a year back, a year and a half back, there's a mayor who ran on anti-corruption in Delhi in India. You remember that?
Yes.
Sorry, not the chief minister of the Delhi government.
okay.
And won with a landslide. And then cracked the whip. And increasingly, it's as a result of that even somebody like Modi was able to do what he's doing right now. Modi is a byproduct. When they saw him, they said, hey, we can get somebody who can do that. And I think Modi did a good job in the state of Gujarat before he came for the national government.
Well, that's still...
on the planning of the mosques.
Well, he was an extremist. He was basically a tribal Hindu fanatic, Hindu, what do you call?
Yeah.
And he did a lot of awful things to the Muslims who were there. He killed over 1,000 of them.
Correct.
Basically was responsible for inciting the people to kill over 1,000 of them. Okay, we're now talking about corruption. We're not talking about the ethnic strife. Ethnic strife is a different ballgame altogether. He's done a good job as far as the corruption is concerned. Sooner than later, somebody is going to, this is going to get to the house of everybody. Today, if I say something big about the people in power, and you look at the Twitter right now, everybody who has got a mountain Amlima name will be castigating me. Everybody who's got a Rift Valley name will be castigating me.
Yeah.
Everybody who's got a Lua name from Nyanza will be, clapping and say you're doing the right thing.
Right.
You know what I mean?
What about Garrisons?
So the Garrisons are basically, because of being a minority and being a trading community, they really want corruption to be eliminated. But too bad, it can't be eliminated. What is the power? But the point I'm trying to tell you, let me just finish. The point I'm trying to tell you, this country, this nation, we as the people of Kenya need to wake up to the cost of corruption. It's bigger than everything.
Mohammed.
Yeah. No, I think I agree with what Mheshimiwa says. What I don't agree with is, we can't do anything about it.
You disagree with that?
No, I disagree with that because basically, what message are you sending to the corrupt?
Yeah.
If you sit here and say, oh, we've given up, we can do nothing about it, then basically you're telling those guys who are, looting.
This is a metaphoric.
I know, it's a metaphoric.
We're saying it in the form that, look, we need the support. We are putting the ball back into the court of the leaders of the country.
Okay.
When we talk about the CEO...
Gentlemen, real quick.
Yes.
Eurobond.
Yes.
You folks,
Yes.
opposition,
Believe
that it was stolen.
It was stolen and
Real
disappeared.
quick.
Yes. I still believe so. Substantial part of it, up to 100 billion is stolen. Nobody can give us the slith, you know what you call? Or the slith through the path. We can't see it. However much...
Willie is an expert.
He's a banker.
However much...
Let's ask the banker.
Let me just finish.
Hold on.
I think, Jeff, the Eurobond part, you have to divide it into two parts.
Okay.
The first question is, has all the money come into the country? I've written about the Eurobond before it was raised and after it was raised. Has all the money come into the country, all the dollars? Yes. Because basically...
everything was accounted.
Everything was accounted
Coming back.
Coming as a dollar in
currency.
Kenyan shilling. When it comes to Kenyan shilling, I am not a forensic auditor. I am not in government. I cannot tell you how it was used, whether we had value for money and all that. But I'm a banker. I know the payment systems. I know how things are. I've looked at the statements that were provided. By the way, the Auditor General audits the ministries and how the money was used and all that. But the Auditor General also audits the accounts of the Central Bank of Kenya. When we raised this money on the 24th of June, just before the end of the financial year, our reserves increased by $2 billion. So when the Auditor General, $2 billion, because we had about $5 billion, And you could see if you look at the if you look at the CBK reports, that the reserves moved from 5 billion to about 7 point something billion. So the 2 billion went in as reserves. Now the Auditor General audits the accounts of the Central Bank of Kenya. When you audit the accounts of the Central Bank of Kenya, you're basically also auditing the reserves. So if the auditor signed off the accounts, which he did, basically he's telling us that all the money in dollar form went into the reserves. Now, if you understand how banking works, basically the government buys, the government gets Kenya shilling and sells the dollars to the Central Bank of Kenya. Now, you could see some headlines, people saying the dollars did not come into Central. Jeff, in Haile Selassie Street, there are no dollars. If you go to the Central Bank of Kenya, you know, some guys wrote a headline and says, oh, Rotich said all the money came in, but again, a week later, he said the money is in New York. Of course, the money is in New York. If you go to the Central Bank of Kenya, you will not find dollars. You will not find money there. Probably you find about $50,000, you know, from the tilts of banks and all this. So there's a lot of what I call fogotary, you know, fogotary, okay? In terms of people saying anything they want to say. But when the money came into the exchequer, okay, and it was given to the government, then of course, you know, as I said, I'm not an auditor. It could have been this money that Kafura is carrying around, just like tax money and all that. But there's no evidence, you know, to say that the dollar has not come in.
Jeff,
and we all know that.
Dollar comes in the form of a dollar. And you float that money in.
Greenback is always greenback.
Greenback is always greenback.
Okay.
It never becomes the shilling. Well, here you would, please, for
The
God's
government
sake.
of Kenya
Hang on a
spends.
minute.
The government of Kenya spends in shilling.
Hang on a minute.
It doesn't spend in dollars.
I'm telling you, go ahead. Hang on a minute.
Okay.
It comes in as part of our reserve. It is changed to shillings, but it stays as our reserve. You
Sorry?
get my? It stays as our reserve. We
The
have
dollars.
a foreign exchange reserve. Yes.
Correct. Yes.
And if we want to try and manipulate market either positively or negatively, it's released out into, you know, because of the law of supply and demand. I'm not as good a banker as Ohilia is, but I have an MBA also, and I think I know a little bit about those things. Now, let me tell you, the money trail cannot be found. Ohilia tells you that Rotich said the money came in. 1 week later, he says the money is in New York.
No. No, I didn't say that. What I said is that the papers or people who basically don't understand how these things work have got this mentality that if you have dollars, the dollar has to come here to the Central Bank of Kenya. No. You see, the government of Kenya, the Central Bank of Kenya is an agent of GOK. But they're two separate entities. The money was raised by GOK. Once it goes into their account in New York, you know, the Federal Reserve Bank of New York, then what happens is that there's a transaction that takes place between the GOK and Central Bank of Kenya. So they buy the dollars are in the reserves of the Central Bank of Kenya. In fact, the first time when it was raised, because it is in a separate account from the normal account that the Central Bank has with the Federal Reserve Bank of Kenya, what happens is that it becomes part of the reserves, but it is not available for use to the Central Bank of Kenya.
We're going to have to end this conversation because we're running out of time.
But Jeff, let me just
There
finish.
is domestic borrowing. What ask him whether there was domestic borrowing at around the same time.
No, Jeff, let me.
And how much the domestic borrowing was?
Jeff,
the 7 billion.
Now we are going into the Kenya shilling. We are going into the physical account. We're talking about the dollars now. You see, one guy comes and tells me, oh, they did, they gave the statements, but they redacted some information in Federal Reserve Bank of New York. And I told him, fine, I'll ask you this question. Why do you think Central Bank of Kenya redacted that information? He says, oh, because maybe that account belongs to someone else. I told him, but an individual is not allowed to hold an account with the Fed.
No.
Then he said, no. These individuals own commercial banks. So one of their banks could be holding the account. Then I told him, commercial banks are not allowed to hold an account with the Fed. So the only owner of those accounts is basically the Central Bank of Kenya. So you just do a sanity test.
The transaction from Europe.
If you are telling me that dollars are missing, then what you're telling me is that the Central Bank of Kenya reserves are wrong. And if you tell me those Central Bank reserves are fake, then we have a bigger problem
gentlemen,
than
we have to
eurobond.
end this show, and I want some concluding remarks. Hold on, Mheshimiwa. Let's start with you, Grandmula. Going forward, quick solution.
On corruption.
Yes.
I mean, 50 years we have done nothing. I don't know. I have no solution for corruption.
Overhaul the system.
But you represent some of the corrupt, is that it?
No.
Of course, as a lawyer, Ahmed,
I mean, he's the biggest winner.
No.
Maybe that's why he wants. Maybe that's why he wants us to do
No.
nothing about it.
Me, what I want is we cut the hypocrisy, you know. This wailing and crying in public that corruption is bleeding this country. I want us to stop that because it's leading us nowhere. If we are concerned, look at the City Council of Nairobi. They have dried it clean, you know. I mean, they stealing is on an industrial scale, you know, Victorian. I mean, and it's happening in every county, and it's happening in the national government. So what is the use of having, you know, a small talk show like this? No, this big talk show, and saying that what do we suggest? The suggestion is not here really. It's how do we deal with, you know, the governance? How do we deal with the central government? People who are stealing this money on a daily basis. That's where really we should focus on.
Mheshimiwa, final thoughts.
You know, the kind of justification we try to play around it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Instead of calling a spade, instead of that money, there is no trail wahiliya from the Federal Reserve Bank of New York. And by the way, from New York, well, how did it get to the Federal Reserve Bank of New York? The eurobond did not come from the central bank, the European Central Bank. That's a eurobond.
It was
It
done.
came from a bank.
Of course.
It came from a private bank.
Yeah, of course.
Yes, so then why can't it end up also in a private bank in Kenya? You're telling me that a private bank in Europe can send that money to the Federal Reserve Bank of New York.
No. You see,
All right, gentlemen,
the
that's a
money was
conversation
raised,
for another
no,
day. I
the
want
money
some
was
closing
raised
thoughts
by
before we lose
private
our
banks,
satellite, gentlemen.
but they raise it on behalf of the government, and then they have to send it. You know, we have different regions. We have
It's huge.
we have Europe.
Gentlemen,
bank that.
closing thoughts, or I'm closing the show.
Okay.
Okay, the closing thoughts. We are in a pit, and instead of we are in a serious pit. Instead of digging ourselves out of it, we're digging ourselves further deep into it. I can say I was thoroughly impressed with the manner in which some of these things are coming out. I mean, look at what Anwar Guru did in front of the Public Accounts Committee there. Here was a resourceful, willing witness who is spilling the beans, telling them, look, this is what it is. And look at the kind of interrogation that the members of parliament were giving her. They were acting as if they were counsels, you get my point, for the people she was trying to say
I thought
that
she was your client.
No, but the point he's making is very important because, I mean, they were so hostile that it was obvious they were defending other people.
They were defending the other people. They wanted the matter. It's like trying to confine the issue to her.
Right.
She's saying, look, you know, a parliamentary committee is a quasi-judicial body. You sit back there, hold your head, and listen to what the witness is saying, and allow the witness the maximum leeway to get all that information out of that witness. They were not interested. You're intimidating us. You're doing this to us. And they're doing it in a very primitive, crude manner. So what is it? Corrupt committee. Let me tell you one thing.
One point I should point is that were ODM committees.
Mohammed Waliye, you get the final word.
I think, Jeff, I believe that corruption can be fought. I think what the executive especially needs to do is to make sure that they invest in preventive controls. I think what they need to do is to look at the people that they employ. I mean, the president has to, or the executive have to get the right people, because it's the people that put the systems and the processes in place. They have to get, it doesn't matter who these people are, even if they're close to the president, they have to part ways. You have to say, the Kigia wa Esther, when he said basically, Omo de doiga rekotumano. Yeah, and then he said, Akoro we to rekotumano. Even if you are related to me, let's part.
Yeah.
The president has to say enough is enough.
Did you grow up?
It doesn't matter who you are.
He's the son of an Askari.
Okay.
He's lived with everybody.
Okay, unasikia Jeff?
He grew up in
So basically,
Yeah.
like me,
I
by
mean,
the way.
I mean, the people who he trusted, the
Yes.
people who are closest to him,
Yes.
are the people who are all the time
If this
basically.
country was serious
treated.
about corruption, we would have listened to what Anwar Guri is doing right now. You know what I mean?
You think she came out?
She is coming out very good. By the way, everybody believed initially that she was.
Yeah.
She
By the
was.
way,
She
Mohammed
was.
Wali, I
She
haven't
was
used my
corrupt.
extinguisher all day today, and you're new on this show.
Yes.
I have to use it, man.
No.
Do you mind?
Don't.
Jeff, get the
Enough.
information. Get the information.
Enough, gentlemen. Good to see you.
Investigate.
Thank you.
Investigate everybody.
Politician.
Are you involved yourself in any way with NYS?
If I was, you would be all over it. Are you still running in Garissa?
Of course, yes.
Can you beat that guy?
Ask Ahmed to
Can you
put a
beat
bet on
Agent Dwale today?
No. I'm not going to talk about that. You watch and see. You watch and see. Either somebody is going to go like Donald
Would you
Trump
come back vote for Kenya?
or going to go like Hillary.
Would you?
Yes.
What do you want him to do?
To
Put
come
him.
back and work in Kenya?
Put him in the central bank.
No, we have Joroge, man.
You have Joroga there.
No, but I think it's they only employ St. Mary's people. I'm from Stare.
Oh, snap. Joroge went to Strathmore or something. You know, he's
Yeah.
yeah. Gentlemen, thank you.
Thank you very much.
Let's do this again
Thank
sometime,
you.
huh?
Thank
Okay.
you.
All right. Good luck.
Thanks,
Thank
Jeff.
you.
All right. The banker, sit down, the politician, and the grand mullah on the bench today. Thanks so much for watching. Keep tweeting.
By the way, the real Grand Mullah is Uncle Ahmed. You know, his uncle is the Grand Mufti, one of the
The
biggest,
Grand Mufti.
biggest scholars. When you talk about Ahmed as being Mullah,
Yeah.
some
He
of
is the
us.
Grand Mullah.
No, that's with a light touch. But the real Grand Mullah is his late uncle, who was one of the top scholars in Islam.
At Waliye Mohammed, at Paramalim M, at Ahmed Nasir Abdullahi, at Kodanki Jeff. The hashtag State of
And the Bad
Corruption.
Mullah is his uncle.
Tomorrow night, right here on JKL, it's Inspiration Thursday. I've got someone you guys will all love.
Who's that?
Professor Ngugi wa Thiong'o.
Oh, great.
He's in town. He's
Great.
getting an honorary doctorate from KCA University.
What is that?
And University of Nairobi cannot give it to him. Listen. University of Nairobi can't give
It's
it.
his first ever honorary doctorate in Kenya.
You see, there we go.
And the
There we
Grand
go.
Mullah is asking, where's
There you
KCA
go. There you
University?
go. It's KCA.
It's not Cornell, okay?
No. I think he used to teach in
Kenya
Nairobi
College of
University, they should give
Accountancy.
him.
Listen, Kenya
Can you
College of
imagine?
Accountancy University
This is a guy.
is on my good
He
friend
was
FT
shortlisted.
Nyamo.
He was
It's one of
shortlisted for
top
the
schools
Nobel Literature Prize.
It's
He
one of
will-
the
he will-
top
he will get it.
universities we have right now in accounting. They specialize in
What?
accounting. KCA.
Where is
So is he getting a doctorate in accounting?
Thanks so much for watching. Good night, good luck, and salam alaikum.
Thank you very much.